every week at Business at Breakfast, one of the members gets the opportunity to share with the group a little bit more about themselves. Their time is theirs to use how they would like. It could be to share about their business and them. It could be to problem solve. It could be to seek assistance or advice from the group. It's up to them. Generally have about 8 minutes to do this in, and we have a few minutes with questions. This week, I'm actually pulling someone out of the crowd. I have been waiting for someone to turn up, and they haven't yet, and they'll be a bit shocked when they're the speaker and it happens. But in the meantime, I'm looking around going, actually, who needs to tell us something? Yes, I know, River, it's you. You're the one I've decided to spotlight for today. So I'm actually making you the speaker today. So we have the wonderful River Easter here. I'm just going to add in, I don't know.
There you go. Oh, hey, I'll get my crown.
Oh yeah, put your crown on.
Oh wait, I even have something else that I really enjoy a lot. You need one of these too.
That's a crack up. All right, so I've got the wonderful River Easter. She's from over in America. We've been networking together for some time over at HMP, so probably about 4 years. In the last couple of years, we've gone in and out of groups where I've seen you or I've known that you've been at places, but I haven't actually run into you. We've missed each other at different places, but I do see you show up on LinkedIn or Facebook, and I do get emails from you to say what courses and that you're doing. I know you do vision board courses, and then you do all these other things. So I thought I would let you tell us, so some of these courses of which you do, and what's coming up next. So here's how I want you to do it. Quick elevator pitch again to remind us what it is that you do, right? Yeah, and then, because there's 28 of us, so that way we can remember you amongst everyone else. Quick history of you to how did this all come about? And then give us a little list of some of the courses that you got going at the moment. Then stop talking and we'll have questions, I promise.
Wow, this is awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, for this opportunity. So again, my name is River, and I have a master's in organization development. I also have quite a few certifications. One is from MIT, Neuroscience for Business Leaders, and also a positive intelligence coach. And so one of the things that I do is that I help solopreneurs, entrepreneurs who get stuck, they feel overwhelmed, really tame their self-doubt, create more confidence, and really we're all looking for a thriving business and a life that we absolutely love to wake up to. And I do this with a number of different things. I have I have a system and a program that helps you to identify your internal saboteurs that generate negative emotions and really hinder your success. This helps to rewire your brain so that you can create lasting change, because that's what we want, right? Is we want lasting change. And how did I end up on this journey of what I call personal development or human potential? Is that I've just always been really curious about it. I used to work as an analyst in policy and environmental policy. I would have a huge room of stakeholders that were fighting about how the environment should be used. And I was thinking, man, I need to get some more skills here to try to help these people really understand that they're interdependent and that we need to work together. And so that led me into different leadership things and educational programs that was really looking at human potential, which got me into my master's in organization development, which also led me into years and years of study of nonviolent communication, because how do we get people to collaborate? But also the other thing is that I'm an entrepreneur too, and I definitely struggled as an entrepreneur. And my dragon was fear. I totally was afraid of being judged. I was afraid of failing in my business. And I decided that I needed to figure out how to overcome all of that. And so I've been on that roller coaster. And these are the things, the tools that actually work the best. So there.
Excellent. Well done. Thank you. Thank you so much. So who's got some questions for River? Actually, I do. What's course that you've got coming up next? What's going on at the moment?
What I have right now is I am doing these pop-ups where you can come, and if you have a project that you need to do, it's called Girl Get Your Shit Done, but anyone can join on. You don't need to be a female to actually jump on, and you can jump on for half an hour or you can jump on for 2 hours. My next one is Thursday from 12 to 2 p.m. Pacific time
Pacific. Okay.
on Thursday.
Thursday, 12 to 2 Pacific. All right. Who can do that time conversion really fast? I've got it. It's Friday, 5 a.m. on a Friday for Australia. There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Linda Joy, you got your hand up?
Yes. I love this topic, and thank you so much for sharing. Especially with corporate, what have you noticed in regards to the changes within corporations with the mental health and the stress and the burnout rates and the statistics going up? And do you work with corporations now or more on an individual level?
I work with corporations too. So both. So I both work with individuals or business owners, mainly small business owners that I work with, but I also work with teams and corporations. And one of the things that I think burnout is just like a really big one, especially when I mean, even though working from home is great, it's very difficult in terms of boundaries, especially if organizations really want you, I mean, to work all the time.
Mhm.
I think that's one of the hard things is like step away, step away from, it's hard to when you have your phone all the time, and and then you're working at home. So I think burnout's a really big one. And then not being able to really find the right people for the job and being confused about what tasks and how those what tasks and what roles people have.
Yeah. And have you actually worked in corporations lately? Because I know in the last couple of years, things have massively changed in the US as well, well,
Yeah,
all around the world,
yeah,
especially
definitely.
with the layoffs, and that's just putting more pressure on the employees that still have their jobs.
Yeah.
So,
Ye- Yeah,
eh,
definitely. The whole pandemic's changed the environment a lot. I think
and
the other thing too that corporations and professionals really struggle with is having those hard conversations. Any kind of, challenging conversation that I mean, managers avoid it.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, I'm
and
curious to know if companies are actually taking steps to, help their employees and stop the
oh, with their
burnout.
with the
Yeah,
mental health.
because the EAP programs and the car maps and things like that are just not working for individuals.
I don't think that I think they're trying to do stuff, but I don't think they're doing the right things or the
Yeah.
things that would actually make a difference.
And
Thank
what would you recommend that would make a difference?
One of the things that I would recommend is basically the foundational program that I teach
Mhm.
for almost anybody. That's going to help their stress management and their mental health a lot.
Mm.
And it's a foundational thing. So it's like whatever they're trying to implement, if they get that foundational piece in there first, it's gonna just enhance everything else that they're trying to do.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Who else? Dr. Chris, you've got your hand up?
Yes, I have. Thanks very much for that, River. That was fascinating. And also listening to the conversation with yourself and Linda Joy is interesting. It raises a question for me. Do you find, either of you, but particularly River, do you find that people are inherently less resilient these days? And if so, why?
Oh, these are such great questions, and thank you. And are people less resilient? I mean, I don't have a definitive answer, so it would only be my, based on my personal opinion. But what I'm seeing is that people have a lot more anxiety and stress.
Mm.
And so if you have more anxiety and stress, you are going to have less resilience.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
yes.
And if a follow-up question without notice, how much of that is to do, if that's the case, how much of that might be to do with the what I call anti-social media, because we call it social media, but the research tells us that young people particularly have never been lonelier than now with social media. So it's a very long, big and profound conversation we could have, but we don't.
Yeah.
But it's I find it fascinating that society seems to be, and again, like you, this is my opinion from observation, that people are less happy, less resilient, less able to cope. And yes, because there's more stress. But what's the cause of that more stress? Is it just, is it social media? Is it the whole package of society at the moment?
Well, that's for bigger minds than mine. So I'm just, that's one thing I'm going to say.
I think it's
Um,
bigger than all of us, actually.
yeah, bigger minds than me to figure out. But I do know that in, studying about people who are very resilient and the happiness experts and all the research that I've done on that is that those social connections are so incredibly important. And so social connections, you can have social connections over the telephone. But I don't necessarily see that social connections are within engagement on your social media. Okay, so and I mean, just my experience with the people that I know, my experience, my kids, who are now 35, it's the comparison despair. You get in and everyone's posting about all the great stuff, but not, and so they have this, comparison despair. So I do coach younger women who really feel like they're kind of losing when their life is amazing, but I think they're comparing it to everything else that's out there. So don't do that. Comparison despair.
I'll steal that term. Thank you. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Interesting you say about comparison. I recently at Easter time, I took my boys down to my mum's house. We hadn't seen it. She moved in a year ago. She lives near my little sister. And so we were visiting and seeing the nephews and cousins and things like that. Anyhow, Simon got on the phone. He said, put me on FaceTime and show me around your mum's house. And I said, I don't want to. I said, because I love it. And then they're going, why? Like even just her bathroom, the shower in her bathroom, I've gone, I want that. Like it's so luxurious compared to ours, which is just what you need. And we moved very far away from family, 1,200 kilometers from family, so 800 miles from family 2 years ago, to live in a place that's just easier, cost easier to live in. And we've got a great house, and it's actually just the size that we need. But when I look at mums, I go, how luxurious is this? And it's only her that lives there, but there's room for visitors. But on the other side of it, I said to Simon, I said, but I am mindful on the other side. Look at all this floor that'd have to be vacuumed. We got golden retrievers. Like it'd just be a nightmare trying to just, clean up golden retriever love, I call it, but it's all their fur that just keeps falling out all over the place. Like, and that's just only one small task, you know. So yes, the whole comparison dilemma is quite interesting. Faith, I'm going to give you the last question before we move on.
River, just basically in what you're saying, and just between you and Linda, I'm understanding is it because we're rather reactive rather than proactive in helping people in terms of this suppose psychosocial situation? Because you spoke of foundations, which tells me like you're talking proactive.
So just to clarify, your question is that you're wondering are we not providing people and organizations with the right tools to have more resilience or reduce their stress or have work-life balance? And is that because they're being reactive versus proactive?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so I would say that the companies are struggling, and for many, many different reasons. I mean, it's a really volatile world out there with a lot of uncertainty in it. And so I think they're really struggling and they're being more reactive. Even though if they are implementing something, it is proactive. But I think that they probably just don't have the right things that if they're doing anything, I don't think it's really helping. Or they might be saying that they have these things, but they're not doing it because the tech, I work with a lot of tech professionals. I mean, it's a brutal world out there, and the companies are not making it easier on them. They're not promoting, they're trying to squeeze every cent they can out of their employees. So
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Linda Joy, I see you just snuck your hand
Yeah.
in. I'll give you one
What-
last. Yeah.
One point on what River is saying, basically, and I know that there's a lot of healers and coaches on this call and all around the world, and this is why we're all passionate about personal development, but it all goes back to our childhood. If we're still running all those old beliefs and programs and patterns from our childhood and not feeling good enough, well, then that's going to lower our resilience level in any working environment or in everyday life. So that's where it all starts from. So anyway, that's just a little follow on from what River said. But yeah,
Excellent.
thanks.
yeah, and
Thanks,
just
Linda.
yeah, and I do have it's called the Saboteur Discovery Session. I'll put a link in it. But when you do that, you will learn your internal saboteurs. And this is all very scientific based information. So it's really awesome. So I'll put the link if anybody wants to jump on board, do that. I'd love to. So at least you know your saboteurs, what they
Excellent.
are.
Thank you so much, River, for being our speaker today. Thank you.
Oh my
Right on the
God.
spot, right?
Thank you. Mwah. Thank you so much. That was
All right.
awesome.
So this can happen. Usually I have speakers lined up and they've already been prepped, but every now and then I do like to just pull someone from the crowd and just show that even though we think we're anxious about speaking, we can still do it. She was given guidelines, we can still do it.
Yeah, I have to say I'm one of those speakers that you can call at the very last minute. And if I have time, I will do it because I love speaking. I have tons of subjects. I could talk, hours about this stuff. So
Excellent.
anytime you need a speaker, I'm here.
Excellent. Thank you so much, River.